it really might actually work. It's squeezing out everywhere I want it to. Well, this may be a very uneventful glue up.
So this was a project that we did a while ago. It was one of our first videos. Turned out pretty well and worked well for about a year and a half or so. I'm not sure how long. But it was pretty good video and a pretty good product at the end. But since then we've grown and the channel has grown, and I figure it's time we build another knife sheath. So let's just start out with getting a chunk of wood that's thick enough and long enough. This is a piece that actually died on the property, and basswood is kind of an unwanted tree in general, so this is the perfect use for it. It's also very soft and pliable compared to a lot of other woods. If there's one tool I would make a recommendation for every wood shop, it would be a bandsaw. Even if you're a metal shop, I think it's a necessity. Just the things you can do with a bandsaw with wood or metal is infinite.
I forgot to press record.
Fun fact, there used to be a skill, it was called pattern making, and in order to make a mold, if you wanted to make a bronze piece of some sort and you needed to cast it, you would ask a pattern maker to make your item out of either wax or wood, and that would be what you would use to make your mold for your casting. Interesting skill that doesn't exist anymore. Not even sure what does it now. Probably 3D printers.
Now that this is cut out, need to cut down this so that this is the same plane relative to this.
Practice makes perfect, right? Well, perfect practice makes perfect. I've made about 5 knife sheaths like this, and none of them have been absolutely perfect in my opinion. This one's getting close, having worn it for a few months since this video has come out. Each time I build a knife sheath like this, it takes an extraordinarily long amount of time to finish. This one has been the longest thus far, and while I'm really pleased with the results, I can see ways of refining it, making it more streamlined, less bulky, smoother action.
Alright, so for our test run, we're going to go ahead and clamp this thing to the bench with everything lined up, and we slide the knife in, and we see it catches. So that catch should leave a small little dent, probably around the guard right here. Yep, it did. So a little bit more modification is necessary. We're getting close though. We're getting really close. Yeah, I can see where it's marked. Alright, back in the vise. Clamp it in the vise. And the knife sits in nicely. It doesn't grip particularly well, but sits in nicely. The next day, I already took the clamps off. We didn't have any glue squeeze out that hindered the movement of the knife. We will be putting a little bit of a sticking piece, because this is a little looser than we want. But it's time to shape it, make it less blocky, and hopefully prettier than that. By the way, it is raining in the background, so if you hear some dribbling, and water sounds, it's not my shop roof leaking, it's the sky leaking. Alright, let's draw this out. And it's close enough for what we're doing, which is bandsaw work. There's a little bulky down here, but I kind of am really okay with that. It has served me well in the past to have a little extra bulk around the tip. Well enough. This slides in pretty good. And there's still room for the clip on the back. Well, we're getting there. I shouldn't rush it. That's going to take a little bit. Okay, so this isn't the same diameter as this curve right here. This is tighter, but I'm going to try heating this up on the iron with some water and getting it to just start to bend, then stick it in front right here where the hot air is coming out. Freeze the lignum in that place. So we'll see if this works. Just start to heat it up about there and then force more bend into it, keeping it hot. Oh no, we're so close. Let's see how much more. It's not that much more. I need just a little bit more. Just a little bit more would help. Let's try it one more time. Well, it fits. The rest of it doesn't anymore, but it fits. But I think I can clamp this part down to make it fit. All right. So normally I wouldn't film a glue up, or at least not spreading glue. So we're just going to cut out the spreading glue part, and we're going to focus on the part where I struggle to get these two pieces to match perfectly before my glue time runs out. Wow. This might actually work. It really might actually work. It's squeezing out everywhere I want it to. This may be a very uneventful glue up. And that's not working. Okay, plan B before the glue dries out. Where's this? Where's a tapping device? There's a tapping device. Looks like a good bond. That is close to the edge, but it'll work. That's slightly loose, but that's fine. I'm going to leave it. I'm not even going to move it. I'm going to leave it right there for at least 24 or 48 hours. We're not touching it. That's it. We're done. We're done. Next day.
Alright, so let's knock down the edges with this cheap Delta sander. Honestly, it does not matter the quality of your tools or anything. I'll make a fuss and tease people about running Black & Decker, but it really does not matter. Just get out in the shop and make something. Even a cheap tool for a while will do your job for you. I heard somebody say once, and I believe it was good advice, it's okay to buy cheap tools. Just don't replace a cheap tool with a cheap tool. I believe it was Adam Savage from Mythbusters who said that. He has his own channel now, probably may have seen it before you saw mine, probably definitely. But I thought that was really good advice for somebody starting out. Buy cheap tools, but just don't replace them with cheap tools. And a good example of that is that sander has been around for quite a while. I've replaced 2 switches on it, and it still runs. Not sure why. I've abused it.
Alright. So off camera I added the clip. Looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? Now I'm going to grind this off because I don't want to scratch the knife handle every time I use it. Alright, so our little screw is now below grade. Hopefully we don't have any ebonizing. Because my experience is that poplar looks pretty bad ebonized. But there we are. We're looking pretty close. Slide it in. Actually tightened up just a bit. Not quite tight enough, but we can fix that. So now let's burn it. Time for the touch mark. And there we go. That's pretty. That almost looks too elegant to use. I may have made a mistake. Man. For basswood, you probably can't see it in the camera, but for basswood, that's not a bad look. The knife looks a little shabby now. We'll give it a fresh up. Leather doesn't need as much, but we'll go ahead and give it a little bit of a polish. There it is. Looks a little bit too fancy, but I mean, a little bit of wear will do that. Some good. Well, that's that. By the way, I know we haven't been posting a lot recently, and it's been summer, so everything's been a little busy. Hang with us. We're not giving up on YouTube. We're still here. We're going to hang out for a bit at least. It might take a few years, but one day we'll make it big. Take care. Have a good day. And go and make something. This was fun. And useful. This is a piece of black walnut. This sheath is made basically the same way, except that it accepts the handle of a knife a little bit deeper, mainly because there's no guard on it. But if we did binding, we would steam bend all these angle, and my power just went out. Back on. I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen.